Today I'm in Ormond Beach, Florida, hanging out with a friend of mine, Justin Rovins. And Justin and I met a couple of years ago because of his son, Ish, who is a scooter rider through Jericho. You were also doing something really cool that I'd never heard of before. This was when Pokemon was blowing up. You bought a limo and was doing like Pokemon limo rides.
Yeah, we decided to start a limousine company that took the kids around town with their families to go to all the Pokestops in a limo. And while they were riding the limo, they were watching Pokemon movies and drinking Japanese soda.
That's super rad.
Yeah, we jumped on that.
You don't do that anymore though, right?
No, we stopped doing that a while back. There's not really a big market for the limousine industry in Daytona Beach. So when Pokemon died off, that died off too. But it was a lot of fun. We had a blast.
Daytona Beach is more about cigarettes and beer, I think.
Yeah, kinda. But we had a really fun time with that limo. My son and I took it trick or treating. I think it was more fun for him than anyone.
Right on, man. That's so cool. The reason we are together is because I've recently, if you watch my last vlog, if you click the card up here, you can check out the end of that last vlog. I talk about some changes in my life that are coming as I go into next year. And prior to filming that, I had actually reached out to Justin to share an idea of something that I've been working on or thinking about. And Justin thought it was a cool idea. And then I talked to Bob at Jericho about it. He thought it was a super rad idea. So here we sit. But the reason why Justin is important in this story is because Justin created an organization called Explorations and Communications. And it's a super rad organization that is built around connecting kids to all kinds of different mediums of communication. Can you tell us a little bit about your organization, what it is, and why you even started it to begin with?
Well, I started it originally as a student radio station back in 1998.
Internet radio.
Yeah, internet radio on dial-up. And
right on.
For those of you who don't know what dial-up is, it's this little thing that goes exactly. And it was just a hobby at first, and then I found the real passion for it. I was working in FM radio at that time. I was one of the youngest DJs in Central Florida. I got an internship, fell in love with it, and then I just started getting paid eventually. So I started my student radio station just as a little hobby, and it grew and grew over the years. And then I didn't realize, but I quickly started to include all different forms of communications: radio, television, video game design, robotics, and now we just recently added social media development, which is really big for a lot of the kids now because everybody wants to be a YouTube star, an Instagram star. Totally. So we get them kind of hooked up with the right people to learn how to become verified and to get a bunch of views and how to develop their social media presence. We founded Explorations in Communications about 3 years ago. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization, which means now we can do bigger and better things. We can hopefully get some grants and donations and not leave one child behind. They can go out and do whatever they want. And we do these awesome field trips. We take them to Orlando so they get to work with industry leaders in the field. So our kids get to get hands-on at radio stations,
right on,
television stations, newsprint. And then the big question is, well, how do I get these jobs? Well, we take them the next day. They go to the colleges that specialize in communications. So pretty much doesn't matter what they're into. If you love making those edits, or if you just want to do sound recording because you're in a band, all that comes together in the end to make that feature film that you watch on the big screen. So, it's important to teach them that it's all one family in communications.
So here's how our story ties together. One of the projects that Justin is working on is a feature film called Board, right?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about Board.
Well, Board is a project that we decided to do because recently my nonprofit teamed up side by side with an organization that gets foster kids involved in surfing and stand-up paddleboarding. And I'm a foster parent as well, so that's combining like a really cool passion of mine together with video and combining it with foster kids and surfing, and I thought it was such a cool thing. So I said, why don't we make a documentary about this? And then I started thinking about Jericho, which is an amazing skate park that I know you're a really big part of, and a lot of our kids go to. My kid is a member of the family of Jericho, and I was like, this can be really awesome because we can dive into the sector of each one of these sports, of board sports, from scootering, skateboarding, surfing, snowboarding. We're gonna be traveling to some really cool snow slopes, and and just dive into a day in the life of these kids, because not everybody's as fortunate as we are. We have a skate park, like every 10, 15 minutes to a skate park around here.
Right.
We got an overabundance of skate parks around here. But I mean, we've had kids reach out to us through social media who their local skate park is the Walmart parking lot. And it's awesome. They make the best of it. So I think it'll be really cool to dive into each one of those sports.
So this film is really to tell their stories.
To tell their stories, and not just their stories, but the different organizations on each one of those sports. I mean, with surfing and skating and scootering, you got Christian surfers, you got skateboarding for Christ, so you got the religious side of it. There's a whole sector of the handicap side of things for disabled surfers, surfers with autism, paraplegic, quadriplegic surfers. We got just the typical beach groms, the kids who, they may have a hard life at home, and that being out at that skate park with that skateboard, that's their therapy. That's therapeutic to them, and it doesn't cost much, but having a skateboard and a fun time at the local skate park. So, we're going to dive into each one of those groups and just show a day in the life of it and how special it is, because that kid who's trying to become the next Olympian champion for surfing has a special story to tell just as much as that person who thought they'll never walk again. They're out there on a surfboard.
Right on. So here's what we're going to do. I can't give you the whole story yet. Again, I promised you guys that in November I would start to disclose some of the things that I'm going to do. But you're aware that I started Wisdom Scooters. It was almost a year ago. I started it at the beginning of this year, and there's a kid in Australia. He is 16 years old now, I believe. Conan, I'm sorry if I botched your age. He's a young kid. I'm 47. He's 16. He's a kid. So anyway, he's the one that really encouraged me to start Wisdom Scooters. And I ran Wisdom Skateboards for 11 years. I recently just released Wisdom Skateboards to Kyle up in Michigan. So what I'm doing is I'm really starting to hone in on what my real passions are and what are my giftings, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses. I feel like I'm a fairly strong communicator, and I love to grow businesses. I love to help people. I love to help people like Justin and Bob at Jericho and other people to become successful at whatever God's put on their heart to do. I wish you could hear Justin's story, because we've just been talking for the last couple of hours for him going head first into all these things that he's done throughout his life that have gotten him to where he's at today. You learned a lot of it because you had mentors, right? You had a guy, you described a guy at the radio station that was a mentor to you, that showed you the ropes on how to do things the right way and how to connect with people. And you learned a lot of things through hard efforts too.
Yeah, that's what takes it to the next level. I mean, you can't go in on things completely on your own. There's always somebody there who helps build you and bring you to where you got to be. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's what my driver is, my true passion is, to see some of these kids have, I call them the no way moments. It's where we take a kid to a radio station or a television station and the first expression is like, no way. They're just shocked with what's going on around them. They never seen, they just hear it on the radio. I think it's a guy talking on a microphone, but it's such a huge organization that gets the final product on the air, and that's what we want to share with our kids. And like you're saying, we like to get our kids so involved. We're actually possibly looking for some kids right now. We got one that we just nominated as part of our board of directors for our nonprofit organization. I mean, he's 11 years old. I mean, 11-year-old sitting on the board of directors for a nonprofit, that's unheard of.
Right. Who would think of a kid being on a board of directors?
Talk about a resume. I mean, most people who are 17, 18 years old don't even have a resume yet, and this 11-year-old already is sitting on the board of directors for a 501c3 nonprofit organization. So, but that gives them a voice. That allows them to make these decisions as to what field trips we're going to do, what projects we're going to do, and I think it's important because we're doing it for them.
So that brings us to what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you a sneak peek, just a little peek about something that Justin and I are going to do together. And then later on, as we get into the month of November, I'm actually going to share the details with you of how you can participate in this. So because of Justin's movie, this board feature film that he's doing, and the fact that I'm following my passions, and where that's really taking me is I don't really want to run Wisdom Scooters. I love scooters, but I really love scooter kids. I love kids that are involved in action sports. I love being able to share the things that God has given to me with those that he puts in my path. So I came to a place a couple of months ago where I was really trying to figure out, am I even going to continue Wisdom Scooters? I actually thought about just shutting it down. And then as I was going through this journey of, how do I utilize my passions but still keep this thing, but not actually have to do all these other things that I'm not interested in? And then I started to think about you and the way you feed into these kids and you give them these opportunities, and that's when I gave you a call. Mm-hmm. And when I called them, what I said was, man, listen, I'm wrestling with this thing. I'm thinking about giving 3 kids in 3 different countries. We'll stick with Kynan in Australia, 1 kid in the United States, and 1 kid in Canada. I'm thinking about giving 3 kids an opportunity to take ownership and actually run a scooter company.
That's awesome.
So what I'm going to be doing is, again, I'm going to give you guys the information here coming up in the next couple of weeks. But essentially, you're going to be submitting videos to Justin, because this is going to feed into Justin's project. This is going to feed into Justin's board project. Mm-hmm. And obviously you got to be a scooter kid for my piece of this, because this is a scooter company. Wisdom Scooters is all about scootering. If you're passionate about scootering and you would love an opportunity to actually run a scootering company and have influence, much like this kid that's going to sit on your board, 11 years old, he's going to have influence over what you guys do.
You have to be a go-getter. I mean, we already have a project coming up soon. We're going to be speaking to an organization here in the Daytona Beach area, and he needs to come and do a public speech and talk to these men and ladies who are possibly going to be giving some scholarships to our kids and funding our organization.
Right on.
So, it's not a bunch of games. I mean, it's a big time. So, and he's got a passion for it. He really wants to help us out, and he wants to help out other kids, and that's what's important. So he's being a true leader.
So in a couple of weeks, what I'm going to be doing is essentially utilizing my passions and my giftings for growing businesses and for helping people be successful in the things that they're passionate about. I'm going to give that to you guys. I'm going to give you an opportunity, 3 kids. I mean, this is a big planet, right? 3 scooter kids, no matter where you're at, and it doesn't necessarily have to be United States and Canada. Those are just the 3 that popped into my mind. With Australia, that one's kind of a lock-in, because I can't abandon you, Kynan. And you're a good dude. I wouldn't do that to you anyway. But what I want to do is give 3 kids the opportunity to sit on the board of a scootering company, and you guys are going to make the decisions. I'm going to be leading you, right? When you start to go astray, I'm going to help kind of give you some guidance. But I want you guys to learn what it's like to run a company. I want you to have an opportunity. You talk about a resume, man. You're a kid and you're actually having an opportunity to sit on a board of directors for a nonprofit, or an opportunity to be at the helm of a scooter company.
Yeah, you'd be like a brand ambassador of a company.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
cool.
I mean, it's like you make the decisions that can take something from your little place, which is cool, right? You started right here in Ormond Beach.
Yeah.
And it's turned into this huge thing. And you guys can do the exact same thing through Wisdom Scooters. So again, give me a couple of weeks. I'm going to finalize the details. Justin and I will work out the details of what kind of videos he needs you to submit. And I'm going to be frank with you. Just because you send in a video doesn't mean that you're going to get it. Just because we might get 5,000 videos, we might get 10,000 videos. If I don't find the right people in there, I'm not going to just select somebody that I think, well, maybe this will do. I'm looking for the right people.
Yeah, it's important. And, we're going to get some amazing content for our documentary. We might even reach out to you to get some more stuff from you for the board project. I think it's going to be an amazing relationship and a great opportunity for a lot of kids out there to get some exposure, something they really have a passion and love doing. And if they are fit for it, maybe even getting a chance to do something even bigger.
That's right, man. So you guys stay tuned to that. Justin, thank you so much, dude, for taking some time to hang out with me.
Thank you for coming out.
Be sure to check this guy out on Instagram, Explorations and Communications. I'll have the link down below. You'll also see it there on the screen. You could check out his website. You want to get connected with these dudes because they do some super rad things. They've got a lot of exclusivity with a lot of different places that you just can't walk into. These guys can give you an opportunity to be exposed to some super rad stuff. So Justin and his whole Explorations crew is a great crew to know. Any final words?
Send us some awesome stuff. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it. We're gonna have some big things coming your way, and we'll probably have another one of these videos coming up soon with some more details. But you guys are some lucky kids out there, and one is going to be two. Going to be extremely lucky to.
We're going to pick two.
Be part of this, and hopefully we can build our family with explorations and communications as well.
That's right.
It's amazing.
That's right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I love you. God bless. Bye.